Good evening and welcome to the Board of Education meeting of the Cherry Hill Township Board of Education. We'll begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Mr. Green, will you administer the oaths of office, please, to our new board members, Mrs. Jen Fleischer and Mr. Benjamin Rood and Mrs. Sally Tong.
The new board members, please meet me at the microphone up front here. Over there. Administer the oath. You do not have to swear. If you prefer to affirm, you may, and you are not required to say so help me God. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jennifer Fleischer,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear
and that I will bear
true faith and allegiance
true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the government
established in the United States
established in the United States
and this state
and this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I state your name.
I, Jennifer Fleischer,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of member
for the office of member
of the Cherry Hill Board of Education,
of the Cherry Hill Board of Education.
am not disqualified as a voter
Am not disqualified as a voter
pursuant to
pursuant to
RS
RS
19:4-1,
19:4-1.
am not disqualified
Am not disqualified
due to conviction of a crime or offense
due to conviction of a crime or offense
listed in
listed in
NJSA
NJSA
18A:12-1,
18A:12-1,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability.
perform all the duties of this office according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
People sign this? Yes, you can send it back at the table. That's Benjamin. So you just sign those and then I will collect them back.
Okay, now we will take a roll call of our board. Ms. Arroyo. Here. Mrs. Stratton.
Here.
Mrs. Fleischer.
Here.
Ms. Friedel.
Here.
Mr. Avadia.
Here.
Mr. Rood.
Here.
Ms. Stern.
Here.
Mrs. Tong.
Here.
Okay, we'll now open up.
Recording in progress.
It's that. It's not- Thank you. Okay, I'll now open up the floor for nominations for board president. Ms. Friedel.
I would like to nominate Mr. Ben Avadia.
Do we have any other nominations? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote then. Mrs. Arroyo,
Yes.
Mrs. Stratton,
Yes.
Mrs. Fleischer,
Yes.
Ms. Friedel,
Yes.
Mr. Avadia,
Yes.
Mr. Rude,
Yes.
Ms. Stern,
Yes.
Mrs. Tong.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll now entertain nominations for board vice president. If anyone would like to make a nomination. Ms. Tong? Okay, Miriam Stern. Other nominations? Ms. Stratton?
Myself.
Ms. Stratton nominates herself. Ms. Friedel?
I would actually like to nominate Ms. Arroyo.
Mr. Roya? Okay, it looks like we have 3 nominations. Shall we go in order? You'll do the roll call?
I will.
So the first would be Ms. Stern,
Mrs. Arroyo,
No.
Mrs. Stratton,
No.
Mrs. Fleischer,
Yes.
Ms. Friedel,
No.
Mr. Avadia,
yes.
Mr. Rude,
Yes.
Mrs. Stern,
Yes.
Mrs. Tong.
Yes.
We have 3 votes, so congratulations, Mrs. Stern.
Okay, congratulations, Ms. Stern.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next on our agenda are appointments. And the first appointment is for the district representative to the Camden County School Boards Association Executive Committee. Let me pause for a second. Dr. Malash, this is what Mrs. Matlack had occupied for many years?
Yes, this is the role that Ms. Matlack filled on this regional board. She also served as an officer, at least for a couple of years on this board as well. It's to meet with the rest of the groups in Camden County. Typically Gloucester County would meet with them as well.
Thank you. And so would anyone like to put themselves forward for this position?
Are we permitted to nominate someone for this or no?
You could nominate someone, but I think typically people nominate themselves, but you could certainly nominate somebody else.
Sure then. I nominate Ms. Arroyo.
Okay. Mrs. Arroyo, will you accept?
I'm good with that. Thank you.
Excellent. All right, 2 more to go. The next is the district representative to the New Jersey School Boards Association. This has been filled for the last year by Ms. Stern. I believe she's willing to give it up. Is there someone else who would like to serve in this capacity? Ms. Tong? Okay,
I'll volunteer for that.
all right, Ms. Tong will be doing that for us then. And New Jersey School Boards Association, of course, is our governing body. And then the next one, I have filled this for about 2 years. It's the Camden County Educational Services Commission, our representative there. We're on two things. We're on the delegate assembly as well as the board of directors. It is about 8 meetings a year, and for the foreseeable future, it is virtual. Would someone like to put themselves forward for this role? Ms. Stratton?
I'd like to nominate Elmore Stratton, please.
Okay. And Ms. Stratton, will you accept?
Absolutely.
Wonderful. All right, we're doing pretty well. Okay, next is Code of Ethics.
Mr. Avadi, I think if you'd ask Mrs. Sugars to do a roll call vote on those 3 appointments.
Oh, okay, great idea.
Mrs. Arroyo,
Yes.
Mrs. Stratton,
Yes.
Mrs. Fleischer,
Yes.
Ms. Frydell,
Yes.
Mr. Avadia,
Yes.
Mr. Rude,
Yes.
Mrs. Stern,
Yes.
Mrs. Tong.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, well done, team. Number 5 is Code of Ethics, which you have at your places and which I believe everyone will be signing off tonight, and then Ms. Stern will have to send hers in. I will say as just a by the way parenthetical note, it's a very powerful 1 page. And I move that we accept it since we really have to. In 6.1, we talk about our designation of official newspaper being Courier Post and Philadelphia Inquirer. And
Mr. Avadi, just as we go through, so each one of the sections, we don't necessarily have to vote each one independently. You can move them all together if you want at the end. But in each one of the subsections, there'll have to be a vote ultimately for them. So like the Code of Ethics has to be adopted
Okay,
by
got it.
board action. The newspaper will have to be adopted, the resolution for the board advertisements. Again, you can do that as consent at the end if you choose, as we've done the action meetings, or you can do each one as we go through.
okay, I would say maybe if it's okay with everyone, if we do them all together, at least 5, 6, 7. Okay. All right. Number 7.1, I did want to speak to for just a moment. People who I know, most people don't talk to me anymore, but some people do, and I know there's some concern about 7.1, but I just want to clarify with administration that this doesn't bind us to committee of the whole necessarily for the year. However, this does put out meetings that will be regularly scheduled as people have become accustomed to. Now, I think this board will have to take up the issue of committee of the whole separately, but I just want to make sure that 7.1 doesn't mean we'll necessarily be in committee of the whole. It just puts that because that is now the current practice.
That's correct, Mr. Avadia. So this was listed on the agenda in this manner because the board earlier in the school year during the fall had chosen to go to a committee of the whole fashion. So over the course of the last 3 months or so, we did not run the traditional committee meetings. Cherry Hill has been a district where traditionally there are subcommittee meetings that meet at the beginning of the month and then a work session, then an action meeting. But no, there's absolutely nothing binding about this. My understanding from when the original transition was made with the previous board is that once the new board was seated, there would need to be a discussion, I'm anticipating next week at the work session or at the committee of the whole about whether or not the board wants to continue in that format or whether they want to do committee meetings. That purely is up to the decision of the board about what works best for this group as a whole.
Okay, and let me just add with that in mind, just very briefly, that in the next 2 days, I'd like to reform our committees, just so they're all populated. So it'll help inform with some reality the discussion that we have next week, if that's okay. All right, then I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Sugars for roll call on 5.1, 6.1, 7.1.
Thank you, Mr. Avadi. First, we need a motion to approve.
I move-
Ms. Arroyo?
And we need a second.
Ms. Stratton.
And we're going to do a paper vote tonight because we don't have everybody set up yet. So we're going to run through that again. Mrs. Arroyo,
Yes.
Mrs. Stratton,
Yes.
Mrs. Fleischer,
Yes.
Ms. Friedel,
Yes.
Mr. Avadia,
Yes.
Mr. Rude,
Yes.
Ms. Stern,
Yes.
Mrs. Tom.
Yes.
Okay, we're now going to move into public comment. And as our periodic reminder, we want to be acting as civil models of decorum. Cherry Hill is a community that values education. Issues that affect our children, schools, and community bring out strong emotions in all of us. The Board of Education takes seriously its vision to work with civility. Please join the board in sending a message to our students that even the most difficult issues can be addressed while showing respect for one another. And with that, we will start. If anyone in the room would like to come up, especially students, to give us our first public comment, and each one will be limited tonight to 3 minutes. Thank you. Please state your name and municipality to start.
Hello, my name is Crystal Ye, and I live on 24 Vanessa Court. So I'm just standing here today on behalf of my friends, my peers, my classmates, and my teachers. I am the class president for the 10th grade at Cherry Hill High School East, and I have heard many concerns on social media, in person, just overhearing them in the hallway and in group chats, all about how COVID is being handled currently at the schools. From what I have currently heard, the way COVID is being handled is the same throughout elementary school, middle school, and high school. And that is so difficult to wrap your head around because of the fact that the high schools are so condensed. And half of my classes now, they're basically empty. Every day we get a COVID report saying how many people are going to be gone. There's 3 days in a row, we had like 20 people each day, new cases having COVID at Cherry Hill High School East. And all my friends, we're scared. We don't want to be in person. We want to be virtual, we want to be home, and we want to be safe. We prioritize our health more than we care about our education at this current moment. We can still learn in the safety of our homes. There aren't people wearing their masks, and I know there are announcements being sent out about doing the daily COVID screening, and teachers saying to put your mask up. But some of those teachers aren't even wearing masks themselves. Some of these subs aren't even wearing masks themselves. I see it on people's Snapchat stories. I see them in my own classroom, and it's so concerning, and it's scary, and it's scary that so many of my friends are taking the step to even email I think some of my friends have reached out to me asking how to help, and I told them that they should that their voice matters and they should let you guys know. But one of the most pressing demands that I am currently hearing is that they just wanted at least 2 weeks virtual. Just 2 weeks virtual to let things die down, especially after winter break, since we know that even though you're supposed to, nobody's quarantining after they're going to vacation. Some people are going out of the country. They're just not quarantining when they get home, when they come home. And there's currently a petition going on right now. It just started today, and I think it just started at Cherry Hill High School East, and there's about like 250 signatures, and the number is only going to grow. But thank you, and also congratulations to the new board members and to Mr. Avadia for becoming president, and everybody else. I know you will do great. Thank you.
Thank you. We do have an online person, but I just want to open up for any students in the room. If any students would want to come to the mic. And if not, then we're going to go to our call in with a phone number that I believe is Dr. Podowitz.
Hello. Hi, my name is Jeff Podowitz, and I live in Cherry Hill. I'm going to cut down what I was going to say. There are 2 articles that I would like the school board members to read if you're new, and I may have mentioned before. One is from John Tremble You can find it by Googling Cherry Hill Special Ed PTA and John Tremble. And it was in front of an Assembly Budget Committee of 2010. He talks about SFRA. He talks about aid being cut. And it really, really is a good thing just to look at. If you don't understand SFRA, it's just something that really, really may help board members to understand what happened in 2010 in real time. And the fact that the Cherry Hill Special Ed PTA tried to get the administration and tried to get the school board to really take a more active role in advocating for our community, and it didn't happen. But they tried, and John was a member of the chapter board. So please look at that article and realize who John Tremble was and what the Cherry Hill Special Ed PTA was trying to do and didn't. It wasn't successful. Another article can be found on NJ Spotlight, and it's an op-ed called "Challenged by School Funding Do-Over," and it's from April 3rd, 2017. She was, I think, at one time the executive director of the Garden State Coalition of Schools, and she's talking about SFRA School Funding Reform Act in relation to special education and why it is not considered, why in fact the way was handled and is still being handled is not equitable to students with special needs. Again, it's a good article. Read the comments too, because there are some comments that are related to Cherry Hill. I made one of those comments, but there's also some comments about school boards. A school board member from a different community wrote on the comments, so you can read the comments from bottom to top. So please do that. You may also read to get a total picture of how much we've been cheated. And over SFRA alone, it's been $250 million, $250 million under SFRA alone by Sharon Joshua on the school district website, and that takes you all the way back to 1990 when the first cuts were made. It was disturbing what that 10th grade student said, and I hope they all stay safe, and I hope that was really disturbing. Thank her for speaking. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Do we have anyone in the audience who'd like to come forward? Because if not, we have Jiaoyun Huan.
Hi, my name is Jenny Yuan. I'm a parent of two kids who go to High School East every day. And I just want to echo what our high school representative just said. Apologize that I missed her name. I think currently it's a very concerning situation about the very rapidly increased the number of the COVID cases. So there are several options that maybe we can do, and there are neighboring schools or public districts. They have started going online for 2 weeks, like our student representative just said. And also there might be an option for hybrid, especially for parents or families who have concerns that to send their kids to school in person. Maybe they can have an option to go online, but for those families and parents who want to send the kids to school, that could also be a relief if that option were provided to parents in public school district of Cherry Hill. And either case, I, as a parent, as a community member, I fully respect whatever the decision made by the public school district, by the BOE committee, Board of Education. I truly appreciate all your effort making our community grow better and better. So hopefully you can hear what we said and make a decision that would suit for what we expect, suit for people's needs. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to an online caller, Alana Yaris.
Alana Yaris, Cherry Hill. I just wanted to say congratulations and good luck to the new board members. I appreciate a short meeting and a board that is cohesive and willing to work together to quickly have what I feel should be a short meeting. I just wanted to say thank you for keeping schools open so that those who benefit most from in-school learning can be in school. And finally, I know that there are a lot of emails that went out over break and after break with the number of positive and students and teachers who are out for quarantine purposes, but I wish the COVID dashboard on the website would be updated sooner than Friday, especially with all of the cases that were over break so that parents can make informed decisions about how they feel for sending their students and children to school. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and so with no one else in the audience or online, well, typically we turn it over to Dr. Malash if there was anything in comments you wanted to address.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Avadia. First, I would also like to congratulate our newly sworn-in board members. Returning to the board, Mrs. Tong for her second term. Congratulations. Dr. Rude for his first term on the board, and Mrs. Fleischer for her first term on the board. So congratulations to the three of you. For those of you in the community, we are looking for a ninth board member. We have information is posted on the website. Mrs. Wilson has shared information on the website through our social media. There was a posting in the Courier Post that went up yesterday. If you are interested in applying for the position for the empty seat on the board, please make sure you follow the guidelines and contact Mrs. Sugars. We'll be moving through that process during the month of January and looking to have somebody appointed by the board early in February. We are excited to welcome everybody back in the new year. We are absolutely monitoring the impact of COVID on our schools and working with the public health professionals about what's happening with COVID in our communities. One of the big things that the commitment that we've made going back to last spring, as we've talked about it, has been to continue to have the opportunity for schools to be open and for children to be in our schools on a daily basis. We're doing everything that we can to make sure that health and safety are the primary focus for our students and for our staff. We are dealing with the challenges that everybody in our area right now is dealing with COVID. If you have specific questions about your child's experience at school, please make sure you contact the school directly initially. Talk to a teacher, talk to a counselor, talk to the principal. If you have questions about your child being exposed and the need to enter into the virtual instruction that's COVID related, you also need to be in contact with the school nurse so they can make sure that we are tracking all of the information that we have. Again, health and safety continues to be our primary focus. There are a lot of levels and facets to that as we look at it for the kids. So happy New Year to everyone. Congratulations to our new board members and looking forward to the reconstitution of the board.
Thank you, Dr. Malash. And may I have a motion to adjourn? Ms. Friedel? And do we need a second? And Ms. Arroyo? And all in favor, say aye. All right, looks like we're adjourned. Happy New Year.